Judges Corner is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the best online retailer for Magic the Gathering singles and sealed product, and gatheringmagic.com, your place to explore the game. Now it's time for Judges Corner.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching Judges Corner. Today we're going to be discussing cheating, what it is, what it isn't, and what you should and shouldn't do about it as a player. So let's start things off by defining cheating. Cheating is when a player knowingly breaks the rules, or allows their opponent to do so intentionally, in order to gain an advantage. This requires deliberate actions, like intentionally drawing an extra card, or the lack of action, like deliberately withholding a life total change that you noticed your opponent missed. You also have to be aware that what you're doing is breaking the rules. The problem with cheating is that intentionally drawing a card looks an awful lot like accidentally drawing a card. You need to understand that when players make mistakes, they're not necessarily cheating. So what can you do as a player to help distinguish the difference between the honest mistakes and the vile cheats? The answer? Call a judge. They're the ones who make that determination, not the players or the spectators. Judges are the ones with the authority to investigate and penalize, or not penalize, the players, depending on what they feel happened. If you honestly feel that someone is up to no good, tell a judge and give them all of the pertinent information so they can better perform their investigation. But what if there isn't a judge nearby? What if you notice something caught on camera, or something else from outside the event? The best action then is to let the head of the investigation committee know by emailing them. The official email to the head of the investigation committee is in our description box below. So posting all of this information to social media sites as a means to report them is not exactly the best way to go about doing that. And ultimately it just leads to a lot of mocking and vitriol. So how exactly can you prevent cheating? Be vigilant. You have just as much responsibility as everyone else to pay attention to what's going on in your game. Judges can and will help by acting as Magic's judicial system. But we can't be everywhere and see everything that's going on. There's a lot we do to help prevent or catch cheaters that you might not notice, but we need you to tell us if you notice something wrong, even if you caught yourself breaking the rules. In fact, if you do find yourself unintentionally breaking a rule, you should call a judge so that you keep the integrity of the game in check. And by alerting a judge, you could possibly have the penalty for breaking that rule downgraded by the head judge, so long as you haven't potentially benefited from the mistake. And even if you can't avoid the original penalty, it's still better than the possibility of receiving a disqualification for intentionally ignoring your illegal play.
So the way that works is that it should have been a game loss for Hayne,
Yeah.
but because he called it on
himself.
himself, and then not only did he call it on himself, he had no time to gain an advantage from such a thing. So they have downgraded it to a warning.
Which is why it's always correct to call a judge or to...
Yep.
Finally, you might not typically think of lying as cheating, but it definitely is. Obviously, bluffing about private information is not cheating, like telling your opponent that you have an abrupt decay in your hand when really you only have a basic land. But lying to a judge about anything, or lying to your opponent about free or derived information, is considered cheating. So make sure you are always honest to a judge and your opponent. So that concludes our episode on cheating. If you have any questions about this episode or any other questions related to Magic in general, you can always send us an email at judgescorner@gatheringmagic.com. And if you like the content that Gathering Magic produces or this video, don't forget to hit subscribe or even click the little thumbs up down there. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, don't forget to shuffle thoroughly, play at a reasonable pace, and have fun.